Hey folks, hold on a second, I'm gonna turn on the light. It's a better quality than some of the places I've recorded, but I was sitting in the living room of my parents' house, and I'm gonna be leaving in several hours to go back to San Jose, but hopefully I didn't make anybody dizzy there. But it's day 34. I had some really freaky dreams last night, like kind of nightmares, I guess you could say, and it's almost like it was symbolic of the state I was in and kind of like choosing this whole Nofap path because I try to recount what I remember of them. It was several hours earlier, so, or, no, it was a few hours earlier, excuse me. One of them was like I was at this abandoned military base or something out in the middle of the desert. It's almost like kind of like post-Independence Day, but if we had lost, and I was with a group of, I guess, with their friends, and it seemed like it was taking place back in the 70s or the 80s because of the hairstyles and the clothing and all that. And it turned out that that place was not completely abandoned. There was some creature running around and killing people, and it started picking off people one by one. And then that scene ended where the person I was with, this one girl, she got taken and killed, and then I kind of ran off and hid, and apparently the thing didn't find me. The next scene was me in this brightly lit room with a bunch of the people from that group, and all the girls were knocked out and on a table, and apparently those guys are part of some secret cult, and they basically molested or raped these women, and I was this was at the point where I was it was I kind of realized what the hell was going on and what these people were, and I was basically fuck no, I'm not being part of this. And instead of just running off my own, I actually grabbed the girl who apparently they were expecting me to do that stuff with, and I basically rescued her is what I did. And it turned out she was in that dream, she was supposed to be my girlfriend, and so instead of doing the stuff with her, I grabbed her and I ran off, and I found this truck, jumped in that, and I powered up as they were chasing after me, and we escaped. And the next scene was it was kind of a several days after, so I would assume, and I was still on the run. And apparently as I went along the way, people were kind of helping me occasionally to get further along, but it was this weird scene where I was trying to get on the freeway, and the truck wouldn't go fast enough, and I was afraid of getting into an accident. And those are the three scenes I remember. And to be honest, I do feel this really does relate to the whole what I did yesterday, because I don't want to get into some sort of mystical mumbo jumbo and all that kind of stuff, because you look at the comment section of some of these lucid wet dream induction videos, and it's some people occasionally jump in there and say this is satanic or demonic, or if you listen to this kind of stuff you're going to get possessed. But it just kind of seems weird, because it's part of me, when I went to sleep last night, was wanting a wet dream to occur, because it would just it was the part of me that there was the part of me that rationalized or justified my watching those videos, to begin with, and doing that stuff to begin with, in conflict with the other side of me, which was the Nofap side, which is trying to get rid or purge that PMO side, and kind of get me to think and live a better way, or a different way, a better way, but it was kind of oh yeah, I got a dream. I had a dream. I got that, but it just wasn't the dream that I wanted, and it was kind of representative of, I guess, how things really were. I don't mean, I had my interpretation of the symbolism, and it almost kind of felt demonic in a sense that what you think is demonic, in part based off of what you see in these movies, like The Exorcism of Emily Rose and so on, the kind of pop culture symbolism of demonic obsession and possession, and the weird cults and all that kind of stuff. There was that one movie, what was it called? It was by M. Night Shyamalan, who it it was one that one with the village where they're out in the middle of the woods. There was like a woods separating them from the main, roads, and they kind of just gone out there, disappeared, and they're this weird cult. And I remember who was the guy who found them. And then he tried to escape, and I think it was something like that. But it kind of almost had that feel. Maybe that mixed with Half-Life, but with like a weird, like really like sexualized Nofap, anti Nofap, really, in a sense, vibe to it. But at the same time, like, there was myself, my rational self, that kind of like woke up in that dream and was like, oh heck no, we're not doing this, and resisted the urge to just go along with that and follow through on those fantasies, because it was like so much of porn is basically like, I mean, it really is objectifying women, and I guess in a sense it does objectify men in a reverse sense, like we're just part of this cycle and we're supposed to just be causing this pain and suffering, and you get that temporary pleasure, of course, but you look at the effects it has on your life and how you interact with people and your social anxiety and that sort of thing, and depression and whatnot. And if you had the experience of making any progress at NoFap, you know that there is something to it. I don't know exactly what it is, and I don't want to get into that, oh, it's the Kundalini rising and all that kind of stuff, but, or people talking about quote-unquote semen retention and how that imparts mystical powers and makes you a Superman and all that kind of stuff, because I don't know. Just as much as I am into the mysticism and the occult, I also have to remain, I think that what's the word, incredulous. I have to be skeptical, because you need to test these things out, and you don't want to just take things at face value. I mean, for various reasons, whether you believe in the horror stories of people not taking things skeptically and then being misled and ending up in some sort of mysterious circumstances happening to them where they end up being found dead somewhere or whatever, when they just go around believing whatever the heck people are telling them, or whatever their experiences are telling them. Then they don't get skeptical and question what actually is going on. But I think I had a comment on one of my previous videos. I'm gonna respond to that comment after I get this done with this video. But anyways, it's day 34. I haven't gone in further and ended up relapsing. The urges are still there, but then again, that's just kind of life, even if you're like a ladies' man, I guess the majority of the time in your life you're not going to be having access to real sex, so it's kind of like you gotta kind of like grow up here, so to speak, and cope with it. And I mean, PMO is one way people have tried to cope with that, and I've tried to coping with it, but ironically enough, it doesn't really do anything for you, It doesn't really help you cope with it. It doesn't help you overcome it. It feeds it even more and more, and leaves, like, I think, an avenue to you being mentally or emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, attacked and damaged, destroyed, and it can lead to rationalization of evil behaviors. I'd say destructive behaviors. Yeah, that's been my experience like today. It's day 34. But really, like, I think thinking back on my last video, kind of rambling and jumping around, but getting back to my last video when I titled it like, why do I keep slipping up? I mean, the real reason, the real answer to that question is I don't have a routine to replace the PMO with when I'm here right now. The routine I was going with, I just kind of like, I just kind of gave up on that. It just kind of lost its momentum or its fuel, you could say, and now I'm just kind of sitting here and hoping that I can keep myself entertained enough for the next 5 hours before I have to leave to the bus stop. So yeah, once I get back to San Jose, I'll have to start just hitting the gym and just, burn off that energy and quench that desire as much as I can each day. Hopefully get some results in terms of my physique, and take my mind and put that into my studying. This semester is going to be an easier semester, so I'll be able to just just take some easy classes to get my GPA up, and then prepare for the next semester, this next fall, to get into materials engineering, and that'll be like, hopefully that's going to go better than the chemi or chemical engineering went. But yeah, it's all a process, folks. It's all a process. It's all day by day, step by step, week by week, month by month, and I've got to actually do the work, To some extent I have been, but to some extent I've been kind of a victim of circumstance, or I've been lucky with my circumstances where I've ended up having stuff to do that, that got me out of the house or what have you, and I was lucky with that. I wasn't like, there was a lot of people where they're, stuck in the house, or they don't even have a house around the street, and, their only recourse is drugs, alcohol, or sex, to get themselves out of that mental state of anguish and pain and suffering. And I've been really lucky in a lot of ways. I need to keep that in mind and count my blessings, Yeah. Dang, I got way more space on this. This is a new phone I'm recording on. It's a lot more space in terms of like memory storage. So, but anyways, I've rambled on long enough. It's day 34, and gotta get to responding to that comment and the other comments that people put on my videos. At least those ones that are, can be taken seriously as actual from real Nofap, as opposed to people who are trolling. So anyways, thanks for watching my videos, and really hope the lighting quality isn't that bad on your end, as far as what you guys are seeing. So have a nice day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you guys. And gals, if you're watching it too. Though it seems like Nofap's mostly a guy problem or a guy thing. Guy process, the PMO is a men's problem mostly. But yeah, good luck with your journeys, and thank you for watching my videos. Bye.